अटुट सम्बन्धको
Rashtriya Swatantra Party chairperson Ravi Lamichhane has emerged victorious in Chitwan Electoral Constituency 2 in the by-election under the House of Representatives, garnering 54,176 votes. Nepali Congress candidate Jit Narayan Shrestha, who was in the second position, received 11,214 votes. RSP chairperson Lamichhane won the by-election in Chitwan with a mammoth difference of 42,962 votes. Meanwhile, CPN-UML candidate Ram Prasad Neupane received 10,936 votes. Prior to this, Lamichhane had won the November 20 general elections from the same electoral constituency with a difference of almost 35,000 votes with his nearest contender. Lamichhane collected more votes this time around. 3 months after losing the status of the member of the House of Representatives, Rashtriya Swatantra Party chairperson Ravi Lamichhane had re-entered the parliament after winning the by-election in Chitwan Electoral Constituency 2. Lamichhane has received more votes than the November 20 general elections. From the November 20 elections, Rashtriya Swatantra Party had secured 20 seats at the House of Representatives with 11% votes in the proportionate category. Within the 6 months of the formation of the party, Rashtriya Swatantra Party had emerged as a new political force, while its chairperson Lamichhane was appointed the Minister for Home Affairs and the Deputy Prime Minister. However, brakes were applied to Lamichhane's term in the government following a Supreme Court verdict in relation to his citizenship issue. The party had joined the government led by the erstwhile CPN-UML, CPN-Maoist Centre coalition. However, despite withdrawing his party from the government, Lamichhane extended support to the government led by the new coalition of Nepali Congress and Maoist Centre. The party had also faced criticisms after an audio tape involving the party's parliamentarian Dhaka Kumar Shrestha demanding 20 million rupees in bribe was leaked. Shrestha lost his position as the member of the parliament. The party and Chair Lamichhane faced ethical questions after the incident as well. However, with intensifying public dissatisfaction with mainstream parties, Lamichhane reaped benefits in the by-elections yet again. Inviting Swarnim Wagle from Nepali Congress to Rashtriya Swatantra Party, Lamichhane made a strategic effort to improve his and the party's reputation. This move helped the party earn one more seat at the House of Representatives and increase their representation to 21 seats at the parliament. Swarnim Wagle of Rashtriya Swatantra Party has been victorious in the by-election for the House of Representatives in Tanahu Electoral Constituency 1. Wagle claimed victory by a margin of almost 15,000 votes from his nearest contender, Govinda Bhattrai of Nepali Congress. Vote counting of the by-election at the District Coordination Committee of Damauli ended at around 3 a.m. early this morning, according to which Wagle bagged 34,918 votes to claim victory. His nearest rival, Govinda Bhattrai of Nepali Congress, finished second, securing 20,122 votes, while Sarvendra Khanal of CPN-UML came in third with 8,488 votes. The votes received by Wagle is almost 10,000 more than that of Nepali Congress's Ramchandra Paudel, who secured victory in the constituency in the November 20 parliamentary election last year. Tanahu 1, which had been considered a stronghold of Nepali Congress since the past 3 decades, has now welcomed Rashtriya Swatantra Party into the constituency by electing Wagle. Although the vote counting in Tanahu 1 had ended early this morning, the Office of the Election Officer organized an official program this morning and handed Wagle the certificate of victory. After his victory, Wagle had stated that he will hold a people's mandate at highest esteem. According to the District Election Office, a total of 65,298 votes were recorded in Tanahu Electoral Constituency 1 in Sunday's by-election. In Baratu, Upendra Yadav of Janta Samajwadi Party is leading with 18,496 votes. In the by-election for the vacant seat at the House of Representatives from the constituency, Yadav is ahead of Shiva Chandra Kushwaha of Janamat Party. Kushwaha has so far received 14,174 votes. Meanwhile, CPN-UML's Purushottam Paudel has collected 5,514 votes. We now have our colleague Prarambha Dahal with latest updates from the vote counting of the by-election of the House of Representatives. Over to you, Prarambha.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Back again with the latest updates from the vote counting of the by-election of the House of Representatives. Let us now first of all begin with the results that we already have in terms of Tanahu electoral constituency, where the position was vacant after the election of Ramchandra Paudel of Nepali Congress as the president. We had the results, and Swani Muagle, a former member, in fact, of Nepali Congress, an economist, a noted figure in international forums as well, has won with a landslide margin, almost 14,800 plus votes, and left behind was Nepali Congress's Govinda Vatra with 20,122 votes, while Saurendra Khanal of CPN-UML only received 8,488 votes. If we are to compare this result with what had happened in the November 20 parliamentary elections, Ramchandra Paudel had received 25,361 votes, and he was obviously from Nepali Congress, later on elected as the president. Right now, having some issues with the health, we wish him a speedy recovery. Ek Bahadur Rana Magor of CPN-UML had received 19,981 votes. Considering these data, it is quite concerning for the mainstream political parties, as the votes of Nepali Congress and CPN-UML both have massively dropped. What it actually shows is there is an evident frustration among the public. At the same time, it is not just with the parties, it is also with the failure in terms of delivering their assurances and promises made during the election campaignings and the agendas as well. That is why a popular figure who actually wanted to contest in the election from Nepali Congress itself, but was not given the seat or ticket for the elections, joined just before the candidacies were announced, joined Rashtriya Swatantra Party, and then was still able to earn or generate this massive number of votes. Actually is again a fact or witness to the fact that these parties have a lot to do in the next 4 years. Otherwise, the trend of downfall in terms of number of votes is only going to increase for the so-called mainstream political parties, and alternative forces and alternative candidates, like even independent candidates and parties like Rashtriya Swatantra Party, will be able to take advantage from this kind of situation. So Rashtriya Swatantra Party's Swani Muagle is the new addition from the entity, and takes the number of seats to 21 for the party at the House of Representatives as well. Now from here we go to another constituency where the by-election was held. This time the reason was a bit different. The reason being, Rashtriya Swatantra Party's chairperson one more time was previously, like we've been mentioning this several times, he had won the election with 49,261 votes in the previous election, but later on, with issues related to his citizenship certificate and the Supreme Court verdict, he had lost his position not just as the member of House of Representatives, but also as the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs. Back then, Nepali Congress's Umesh Shrestha had received 14,983 votes, while CPN-UML's candidate Krishna Vakta Pokhrel had received 14,647 votes. Now, if the Supreme Court verdict had done any harm, only seems it has happened for Nepali Congress and CPN-UML, as their vote counting has dropped from almost 15,000 to only 11,000 out here, while CPN-UML 14,000 to almost 11,000 also here. There seems to be a sort of a competition only between two, but the winner, Ravi Lamechhane, has extended. In fact, his number of votes has only increased from what he had actually received last time, despite the fact that the total votes recorded in Chitwan Electoral Constituency 2 was lower than what had happened in the previous election, or rather say the November 20 parliamentary elections. The total vote count for Ravi Lamechhane has increased. His popularity seems to have increased. People seem to be having more of a trust in this entity. There might be several reasons as to why Ravi Lamechhane has received the votes. Maybe despite the fact that the Supreme Court verdict was there, people are probably thinking that it was too short of a time period to judge based on his performance. He probably was only less than a month in the power in the government. At the same time, their agendas and their candidates seem to be more of better candidates in relative comparison to others fielded by other political parties, like even the mainstream parties. So again, like we mentioned in Tanahu, it is a matter of great concern for parties like Nepali Congress and CPNUML, as their popularity and the number of votes are decreasing also in Chitwan electoral constituency too. Now from Chitwan, we move on to the other constituency where the vote counting is still in progress. In Madhya province, in Bara electoral constituency 2, the latest vote count that we have is Upendra Yadav of Janata Samajwadi Party is in the lead with 18,808 votes. Following behind is Shiv Chandra Prasad Kushwaha of Janamat Party with 15,458 votes. We have to consider the fact that Kushwaha was previously a member of CPN Mahavir Center, and he was back then also a second in the race of the member of House of Representatives, as back then Ramsai Prasad Yadav was elected with 13,822 votes. The margin was very little here, and as Ramsai Prasad Yadav was elected as the deputy, in fact, vice president, the seat had got vacant, and Upendra Yadav, who had lost against Janamat Party's chairperson C.K. Raut, preferred to contest from Bara 2, and Janata Samajwadi Party, in fact, it was the same party from which the deputy president actually hails, vice president actually hails. So the party seems to be maintaining its stronghold in Bara 2, but at the same time, Shiv Chandra Prasad Kushwaha, who was very, had a very fine margin of difference, seems to be way behind, as Janata Samajwadi Party this time has the support of the ruling coalition involving parties like CPN Mahavir Center and Nepali Congress as well. So that is all we have for the moment. We'll definitely be having more updates as the vote counting goes on in Bara 2. For now, it is back to Sarah in the news.
Thank you, Prarambha, for the updates. We'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up.
Shivam Cement, Bharosa, Atut Sambandhako.
जगदम्बा सुपर साइन तथा ग्याल्वा प्लस जस्ता पाता जीवन भर को भरोसा.
Berger Silk, breathe easy. It's glamorous and also protects walls of my home from bacteria, viruses and pollution.
Berger Paints, the most trusted paint in Nepal. घाम पानीको लुकामारी, खुशीका हरेक क्षणको तयारी, PU र सिलिकन प्रविधियुक्त बर्जर वेदरकोट लङ लाइफ. घाम पानी छेक्छ, 10 वर्ष टिक्छ.
एकैछिन ल, सुन्नुस् न, यो भन्दा फिजी कुनै छ? ब्रो, यो ट्राई गरेको छौ? या, हामी पनि यही पिउँछौं.
त्यही त दिएको थियो नि. हर घुटमा अझ बढी फीज, अझ बढी स्वैग.
टाढाबाट त अनुहार स्पटलेस ग्लोइङ देख्न सजिलो छ, तर नजिकबाट अनुहारमा डार्क स्पट्स र डार्क सर्कल्सहरू देखिहाल्छ. पन्ड्स ब्राइट ब्युटी प्रो भिटामिन B3A+ फर्मुला घटाउँछ डार्क स्पट्स र डार्क सर्कल्सहरू र दिन्छ स्पटलेस ग्लो. पाउनुहोस् स्पटलेस ग्लो नजिकबाट पनि. पन्ड्स ब्राइट ब्युटी.
Start. ल्याउनुहोस् नयाँ मिश्र